Hey Nerdy Knitter, Tanya here. It's the end of another month and that means another Nerdy Knitting Roundup. So grab a drink. For me it's just water today and all your knitting, and let's settle in for a good chat as we talk about all of the knitting projects that I have going on right now. It feels like it's been forever since our last podcast, but I guess, yes, that one was before Christmas since I took a few weeks off at Christmas time. So we are back. We have moved some things around in the studio, so the background's just a little bit different. Not much. I've got a new spinning wheel. That was my Christmas gift, and a hand spun project that I'm working on that I'll tell you about later on. And I have a pile of knitting beside me to talk about. But of course, a few announcements first. Actually just one. The only announcement is a new pattern release for Biscot Yarns, the Diamond Desert Cowl. Now this is another cowl. I love knitting cowls, like in lengthwise in the round with stranded knitting, like whatever pretty pattern, using just two different yarns. This one uses sock or fingering weight yarn. You pair a neutral color with a gradient yarn, and the gradient does all of that color transition work for you. So you can find a link to that pattern over on Biscot Yarns, and they have some kits available as well. Now, one more thing, of course, is our monthly sponsor, which is Yarnable. So you're going to want to stick around because we have a Yarnable giveaway at the end of this video, but I want to just talk about them briefly right here. I love and use Yarnable. One of my, my only completed project uses some Yarnable yarn, and I am always, because I'm not one to just buy yarn and keep it in a stash. I always buy when I have a project in mind. So this is kind of really fun for me to just get random yarn, and then I've got to think about, oh, how am I going to use this? Because I don't like it to like just sit around. I have a little bit of yarn hanging out, but I try not to keep too much. So it's kind of a fun challenge to find like either one or two skein projects to use like these fun yarns, and always great little things that are included as well, which are pretty versatile, I have to say, because a lot of the times my daughter wants to see what's in my package right away, because even stitch markers she'll use as like keychains and stuff. Like, she just loves the things in there, and she doesn't knit. So, and they have great options. There's the sock weight version, there's the DK weight version, they have a worsted weight version either coming out or it's out now, I'm not sure. And then like the number of skeins you can get like the single skein, or like different versions of deluxe where you can get extra skeins or like mini skeins that go with it, and just so many great choices. And the newest one is that you can just get the yarn. If you don't want all the little extras, you can do just yarn as well. So many choices, really great. I have been a member now for, I don't know, since last summer, I think, spring maybe. Spring or summer. Really enjoy it. Love getting my skein of yarn every month. I'm just the one skein person. I just like that little surprise, and then I can pick a pattern and try not to let it just sit on my shelf and get it used. But really great box, and stick around for the end because we have a Yarnable giveaway to talk about at the end of the podcast. So let's jump back in time to December when I recorded the last podcast, which was before Christmas. So it's been more like 6 weeks instead of our usual month, to talk about just the recap of what I wanted to work on over the month. And then we'll actually get to what I've worked on and accomplished to see what my plans were and if I actually met all my goals. I like to set some loose knitting goals just to, you know, get things moving and off my needles and not languishing in a pile somewhere. I'm not really super strict about it though, and I'm kind of like, I have a lot of projects right now. Thank you to Christmas and all of that break, I just kept casting on all the new things. But let's go take a look at that monthly recap, and then we will settle in and talk about what's off my needles and what's currently on my needles, and some upcoming projects too. So here's my pile for Christmas break through January until January's podcast. This is what I'd like to do. First is my Twitch. I'm still working on that back panel. I think I'm pretty close to finishing, but this one is slow. Like, I'm not a huge fan of just plain stockinette a lot of the time. I do want the sweater, so that's why I'm motivated to knit it, but I'm not motivated because I want lots of other projects to work on right now. So I think my only plan with this is to finish this final back panel and maybe get all of the back panels sewn together. There's a lot of sewing because everything's knit in pieces. 3 pieces for the back, 3 pieces for the front, and then both sleeves are knit flat and seamed as well. So I think instead of saving all the sewing for the end, I'm going to finish this panel and I'm going to sew all the back pieces together. So that part's at least done. And then I can move on to the front. Maybe I'll get to that over the Christmas break. I'm not so sure. We shall see. But at least get the back panel done and get them all sewn up. And the Geode cowl, this one, I mean, I've just been poking away at it when I feel like it. It's really just sort of a relaxing, very fun knit. I don't even know how much progress I've made since the last episode, but it's just sort of, it sits by the couch, and when I'm not working on anything else and I just want something a bit mindless, but something that feels very entertaining, I've been grabbing this, and I'm just going to keep going till I run out of yarn. I have no idea. I don't have any plans for like finishing on a specific deadline with this one, but I'll just plug away at it when I feel like it. And then the lightweight hipster, I've just cast this on this week, and I've already finished quite a lot of it because it's a 1 skein shawl, so it's not super big. I love how this variegated yarn is coming out. So garter stitch and then texture. These dropped stitches like these are really great choices for like a crazy skein of variegated yarn. It's looking really lovely. I will probably finish this over vacation because it's one of those just really fun to knit. I mean, I'm on a garter stitch section, which I mean, it's just more mindless knitting, but then you have more texture to add and stuff like that. So it's just nice. The colors make me happy. Switching between the different stitch patterns is really nice. So I imagine I will get that done over Christmas break. Now my Moebius cowl I just cast on last night, so I have not even done very much. The provisional cast on, and I think just one round of the very first chart, but that's done now. I'm all set up and I can just plug away at this. It's going to take me a while because it's a colorwork chart and it's quite a long cowl, so I'm just going to say maybe if I get through a couple of chart repeats, 2 or 3, then I would be happy with that progress. And I'm breaking my rule about only having 1 sweater. I'm going to start another one because I want this one to wear over the rest of winter. So I haven't even swatched yet. All I have is a skein of yarn in a bag so I can get my swatching done at least. So this is for the La Manche sweater. I want to get the swatching done, and I actually want to like cast on. I'm pretty sure I start with like the sleeves with the color work. But like over Christmas break and through January, at least get that started. And then I think I'm going to have 2 new cast-ons over Christmas break as well. First would be a brioche shawl. Like I am going to be dyeing the yarn myself. Here's just 1 skein as my like just placeholder for that. I think I'm going to go with maybe 3 colors. So I will get the yarn dyed and also start knitting on that over Christmas vacation. And then I want to do a Tunisian crochet shawl. So I have 1 skein of my Yarnable subscription here. I've picked one that has like the craziest color combinations. Like I wanted a really strongly variegated yarn because I want to see how that crochets up. And I mean, I don't have a big stash of these, but what I have left to knit up, this one has like the biggest color changes in the like the variegations in the yarn. So I'm interested to see how that will work with Tunisian crochet. I had to go grab my last project because I forgot about it. My Yoke sweater. You can see from last month there's absolutely no progress made on it. I haven't split for the sleeves at all, but I was so busy trying to get my shawl and cowl done. Those designs are on a schedule and they have to be done at a certain time. So this just got pushed to the back burner, but this is January's project that's on my list to work on in January. Actually through January and February, so I can release the tutorial in March. So I probably won't work on it over Christmas because I'm on break and I don't want to do any work knitting, and this is work knitting, so it's going to wait until January. But by the time the next podcast rolls around, hopefully this will actually be done. I keep saying that for the last few episodes, but this time I hope I mean it. But the plan is to have this one done because I still have to knit 2 more samples, do the video tutorial and finish up the pattern and get a tech edit and all of the things. So that will be like on deck in January. But I've kind of cleaned off the deck, so everything is new. Like I just cast on, or I'm just casting on. The only thing that is sort of like a holdover is my Twitch sweater and my Geode cowl. I just started that one and I'm not concerned about finishing that. The Twitch sweater might take me a while because there's a lot going on with that. It's quite a large size, and it's just it's going to take me a while, I think. But this is the plan for Christmas break and through January. So the first thing is something that's off my needles. I only have 1 thing off my needles. That is the Hipster shawl by Joji Locatelli. So this is one of those single skein projects. So I used a skein of my Yarnable yarn, and I think it worked up really great. Sometimes I'm not sure what to do with variegated yarn and how it's going to knit up, but the combination of garter stitch and then like these sort of dropped crossed stitches here, and of course all the fun tassels, I think it works really well with this skein of yarn. So this is the October box, Witch Please, and this is the Plush sock yarn, which is an 80/15 superwash merino and nylon. Really nice yarn. Love the colors. They are definitely like sort of Halloween themed, you know, that green and purple, or Joker colors even, I don't know. But then I think it worked up really well in this little shawl. And this was a super quick knit, like just very quick to get it. I mean, it was easy to do. It was just one of those kind of almost mindless projects. You did have a little bit going on here. There's like the drop stitch thing, then a little textured pattern in the middle. And then lots of garter stitch in between with some increasing at the sides to get like the crescent shape, but nothing very hard. Just kind of a fun knit, like you just wanted to get to the next section, and then before you knew it, you were out of yarn. I think I had to actually finish it a little early. I didn't get in like the last few rows, but it's sort of an adjustable pattern. You can keep going until you run out of yarn. And I made sure I had enough to finish off with my tassels, and I think I had like a tiny little ball of yarn left, and that was it. So fun pattern, great yarn. I think it came out really good. I think it's a great pattern to use for a variegated yarn that you're not quite sure how it's going to knit up. Garter stitch and some texture is always a good idea with a yarn like that. I have a whole pile of things that are actually on the needles right now. And first of all is a sweater that I'm working on. Oh, and there goes my yarn. So this is the Twitch sweater. I am using a Knit Pick Stroll, which if I'm honest, I don't love for socks because it's very, very soft. I like it for garments and for shawls, but I'm really hard on my socks, and Stroll's a little too soft for my feet. I have to reinforce like the ball of my toe and the heel because I tend to wear out in those two places. But they have such great colors, and I think they're great for other things. I'm just not a huge fan for socks. Perhaps if like you're easy on your socks, they're going to be fine for you. But if you're hard on socks, not so great. But I do love this color. Well, I mean, you can tell I'm wearing hot pink and black today too. I like me some pink and purples, and I just like bright colors. So Twitch is a drop shoulder top, and I really love the way you choose your size is based on your arm circumference instead of body circumference, which makes a lot of sense for a drop shoulder sweater because it has to fit in the arm. It has to be bigger than your body. The whole point is that the sleeve is somewhere on your bicep. So you choose a size based on your bicep, which I think is a really great idea. And it's one of those sort of oversized, slim sleeved kind of things. But it's done in pieces, like each, I've actually accomplished more than I thought I would. I was only intending to like sew together the back, which is done. It's in a bag put away. I'm not gonna pull it out now. And then the second piece, I've already got the first front panel done right here. So you can see there's two different stripes, and it's going to be, the next piece will be smaller stripes again. So I'm almost finished. I'm working on the neckline shaping because it's going to sit like this, like there's part of the neckline right there. And then one more piece on this side. That makes sense, I think, yes. So one more piece to go for the front, and then I'll sew them up. And then it does have, I'm pretty sure I have to go back and check the pattern, but you are knitting the sleeves separately and then sewing them on, but they're in black yarn. And this is black yarn. When I was sewing it up, I had to sit here and have like broad daylight, extra light, and then like really pay attention because it was hard to see. And I'm thinking, I don't want to sew black sleeves. I think I might pick up stitches instead and just knit the sleeve down from the body of the sweater and then finish the neckline. But I'm thinking I might be able to get that all done over the next month and a half. It's been a very simple pattern, not hard at all. It's just like panels of stockinette stripes with some shaping for like the arms are sort of like extended out a little bit so they can push a little further away from the body. That helps you avoid some of that underarm bulk you can get from a drop shoulder. And then there's like the shoulder shaping, back neck shaping, and now front neck shaping. Pretty simple. Nothing too hard. So this has been sort of my go-to project as I watch. I'm watching another Turkish romantic comedy drama subtitles, and it was something I can knit, but not like I don't have to stare at. I can read the subtitles as I'm knitting. So this has been great for that. But I'm plugging right along, did more than I thought I would, and I only have I'm almost finished with this panel. I'm doing the neckline now, so just the shoulder shaping left. One more panel to go. So I'm hoping within the next, it'd be nice if I could finish it off, but I'm not. I've got a lot of other projects, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but at least get the front panels done. And then maybe next month I will get the sewing, or March I should say, because this is what's coming up for the rest of, for February. Maybe in March I will get the sleeves and the neckline finished, but maybe the plan will be to do one piece, the final piece, and get it sewn up, because I am almost finished with this one. So I'm happy to be like ahead of schedule at least. So another thing that I have been working away on, and it's kind of been pushed to the back burner because I had other projects with deadlines, and this one is a tutorial. It's planned. I've got it on the calendar for March, so I am trying to get it done for then. And the grading, pattern grading is done. I just need to sort of write up the pattern. I just like take notes and write. Like I knit from my notes, and then I have to turn it into a full pattern. So it's going to be a yoke sweater with lots of options, like 2 different neckline options with short row shaping and optional bust shaping, optional waist shaping, different body lengths, some different sleeves, like a short sleeve, balloons, like a 3/4 balloon sleeve, and then a full length, like wrist length tapered sleeve. So I've had to sit down and sort of like figure out which sample is going to show which parts, because I can't knit a bunch of samples, so I'm knitting one that'll fit me so I can take pictures of it. And that one I have done a lot since the last video. So the body's pretty much done. I have waist shaping in here and moved stitches for my bust. I just have to come back and finish the ribbing. I was just giving it a quick soak and trying it on to make sure everything was fitting right and checking my gauge. And one sleeve is finished, or almost finished. I've probably finished that this afternoon. So this one's gonna have balloon sleeves. I have to come back and finish my neckline after. So this sample uses Knit Picks Galileo. I did not write down the color, but I will put it in the video description box. I don't have a label handy. I put them all the labels in a bag, and they're in a box under the table right now, so I can't check them. But that's like sample 1, and then sample 2 is going to fit the mannequin behind me, and I wanted to check my grading, so that part is done. This one has the short row neck shaping, crew neck. I'm not sure where is the back on this one. So just the yoke is done for this one so far, and I think I have a little bit more to knit, and then I've got to like separate the sleeves and the body, but it's got the short row shaping, and I did just reverse stockinette for the edging here, which works well, but you have to be careful with your yarn choice because it does want to keep rolling out. So it works fine. Once I washed it, it's staying in place because it's 100% wool. So this is wool of the Andes from Knit Picks as well. And so I wanted to knit another size sample just to make sure my yoke grading was correct, because I've never designed a yoke sweater before, and I wanted to make sure it's gonna, like the math is gonna work out correctly, and it fits the mannequin, so that works. And the rest of it, I mean, figuring out how to do the sleeves and the body is totally fine, but that from the neckline to like separating the arms, that's the big area in a sweater. You wanna make sure that's fitting well. So I spent a lot of time playing around with the math on there to get what I wanted. Now, when I mean, there's a lot of yoke sweater patterns out there. I tend to avoid the ones, if they show a picture of the sweater laid flat and it looks like a funnel, I avoid those. I don't love the way they fit. I'm not shaped like a funnel. You know, ideally the increases should be from the neck to the shoulders, which is only about half the yoke depth. And then you've got to do like the other half from that shoulder tip to your armhole. And you don't need a ton of increases there. Maybe some like for your bust or something, like do a little bit of raglan shaping under there or something like that. But I find with a yoke, it fits, at least it fits me better if the majority of the increases are done. Like from this, the first half of the yoke, basically. If all of the increases are done there, maybe a little bit in the last half, but not most, the majority of them should be in the first half. So it's more like a big circle and not like a funnel. Like if I held this up this way, it's not funnel shaped. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some I've seen and they look like a funnel, and I don't understand how that would fit. It wouldn't fit me, I know that. So, but I spent a lot of time like doing math for this. But so this, I'm very pleased with the yoke fit. Like I think it's like size 2 for the mannequin. fits the mannequin fine, fits the shoulder, the bust of that mannequin. And then I chose a size for me that's like 2/3 of like the way up in the size, and it fits me great. I'm really happy with it. But it's always weird designing, because I know a lot of designers design with their own bodies in mind. I try to use like the standard body measurements, and I am not standard. Like I've got to do stuff to like adjust the bust, and I like to add waist shaping, but I know a lot of people just want to knit straight and they don't want to add that. And my arms are short compared to, I don't know if they think people with larger busts have like Amazon arms, but I have to take 2 inches off like every pattern. So I'm writing the pattern as if it's going to fit the person that fits the standard size, and then I'm just going to like say this is my sample size, but these are the modifications I made, because I have to make modifications. But maybe somebody else who has a similar body shape does have longer arms than I do. I don't know, but I don't want to like knit massive sleeves and just have to shove them up, because I think that would look weird. I'd rather have them fit me. So not sure how other designers, unless they just fit within the body standards, I guess, and that works just fine, but I don't. So that's what I chose to do. I would spend a lot of time thinking about how to do that. Like, do I just knit for my body shape and then list that as one of the standard sizes, or do I just use the standard sizes and then modify to fit me, which is what I do for other sweaters. I figured that would be the best choice for this. And then I am going to have like the waist shaping's not going to be included like in the full video tutorial. It's going to be a separate video, but I'll have a worksheet, so I will tell you this is how you work out your waist shaping, because you might want it in a different place. You might have a long waist, you might have a short waist, you might want your shaping at the sides, you might want it at just the back. There's so many ways to do it, so that's going to be sort of like an optional extra, and then you don't have to do that. You can ignore it, it won't be in there. I think the bust part I'm going to stick right in there though, because I find that with yoke sweaters, especially if you have more than like a C cup is the iffy territory. You can get away with it just fine, but after that it's harder to, the sizing still works, but I think it's better to move some stitches from the back to the front to account, to put the fabric where you need it. You don't need it in the back, you need it in the front. If you've ever knit a yoke and you have a larger bust and you find that you've got all this excess fabric in the back, you don't want that there. Where you want it is in the front. So that part will be included. But anyway, all that to say, the samples are coming along. Mine I'm hoping to get done this week and finish this one up pretty soon. And then I still have like another sample to knit, but that will be for like the tutorial video. Like I'm going to use that one and record everything to go along with the pattern. So it's a lot. I'm hoping it'll be done and ready to go out by March. I need to get the pattern written up and then get it sent to a tech editor. I generally, honestly, because I'm certified as a tech editor, so I tech edit my own patterns, but when it comes to garments, like full-on sweaters, I want like another set of eyes on my math, basically, to make sure everything looks right. So hopefully this will be done and ready to go for March. Then I've got my Geode cowl, which I'm plugging away at. I don't even like have any intentional plans for this. It just kind of sits beside where I sit in the living room, and if I don't have anything else, then I grab this because it's kind of mindless. It's knit 4 purl 4 rib for like the navy blue or the cobalt blue. Then when you get to the orange part, you switch to seed stitch. So I dyed this yarn myself. It's Capretta Superwash, which is Superwash Merino. Yes, cashmere and nylon. So I had some orange dye left from another project, so I used that and cobalt blue, and I did like a hand painted skein so I could do some assigned pooling on purpose. So this has been a really fun project. Here's a little close-up of it. So you can see it's just ribbing, seed stitch, nothing difficult. You do have to sort of like do some little things at the beginning to figure out your cast on number, because you want the orange to sort of line up, and I like how it's kind of spiraling around. That looks really cool. But really kind of just relaxing fun knit. And I'm just going to keep going until I run out of yarn. Like there's no big plans here, just keep going, plugging away at it, but it's really fun and relaxing. Now I think I mentioned last month how I still had some yarn left over from 2024 Christmas. So this is a project from that. I still have a couple more, another one here, and then like some sock yarn and then some bare yarn, but that one I'm not so big about keeping as a stash because I'll use that up. But I want to clear that out. Like I don't like, it's been a year and I've had this yarn that long. I want to get these projects done. So, and I did not get very far. I think last time I had just cast on. So this is all I've done. Here, you can see the overhead. That's it. I haven't done very much. So provisional cast on, and then you start the stranded pattern. And I really like these guys. These are a gift from my daughter for my birthday. They're very cute. But it's not hard. Pretty simple. You reverse like the colors on this side, that magenta or fuchsia color is like your pattern color, and then on this side it's reversed. It's the background color here. So it's pretty simple. It's just stranded knitting. So I'm like not working on it when I want to pay attention to, like if I'm watching TV or something, but I just have so many other projects going on that I'm finding this one just is kind of stuck on the back burner. Honestly, since casting on, the only reason I've even done as much as I have is because I was like, oh, I've got a podcast coming up. I should finish something of this project. So it's just kind of sitting there. I'm hoping, like, because I have like the sweater tutorial I'm working on, that's taking a lot of my time. And now like I have my spinning wheel and I've spent a lot of time spinning, and I've got a lot of hand spun now. Some of it not so great. I'll have to pull out some of the not so great stuff to show you sometime. So this one I haven't been working on it, but I do want to, I like it. I want to get it done. It's just, I have so many other projects going on that it's kind of just been on the back burner. This is the other pattern that falls in that category. I got the yarn for 2024 Christmas, and I never did do it all year. So I want to I want the cardigan. So I think all I've done, my swatch is in here somewhere. That's all I've done. I have done my swatch, got my measurements figured out and my needle sizes, and I've got the yarn in the bag, and I've picked out my size, and I have looked at the pattern and like compared like the measurements to my body measurements, and I'm trying to figure out what to do because I'm like between, the size I'd like to knit, I don't quite have enough yardage. I probably had picked the size smaller when I was planning, but I can't remember what size it was now, but I don't have quite enough yardage. But when I look at the pattern, the sleeves are too long, like everything, but I have to like sit down and figure out how, because you start with the stranded knitting on the sleeve. So I want to like take out a pattern repeat or two in that, I think, to shorten it up, because that's where most of the sleeve length is. But because of the construction, I'm kind of confused. So I have to like sit when I'm not working on a million other things and figure out how I want to do that. But so I do want to get this done. It's probably not going to get, well, I'm trying to get my Twitch sweater done and then get this one. I don't like to have, I've got between this and the sweater for the tutorial, and I've got a steeked cardigan that I'm going to be starting for like the coaching program. So it's a lot of sweaters all at once. I'm trying to like stagger things, get Twitch done first, then I can really focus on this. But I've got to figure out, the yardage is a bit iffy, but I need to shorten the sleeves, and that should help with the yardage because I can take that extra that I don't need in the sleeves for like the length that I want. But yeah, because you're doing, I think it's just one big like stranded circle, and then you're cutting it. So you have one for each sleeve, and then you do the neckline stuff. And I don't know, I have to sit and read through it again because I love reading. I love Jennifer Beals patterns. Like they're always like just interesting construction. I've done one before and I wanted to do another one because I really like how she just has these interesting ways to construct things. And this is another one of those. But yeah, I would like to shorten the sleeve length. So I've got to figure out how the stranded colorwork part is done so I can like adjust the stitch count for the length there. I'm hoping that I can figure that out. But I have at least swatched, picked out my size, have my needle sizes all sorted out so I can get started on that. But kind of like I want to get Twitch finished first before I do too much with this one, besides like trying to figure out how to shorten the sleeve and the way it's constructed, because you do that part first, then it's steeked, and then you've got like neckline stuff going on, and I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. So another one of my projects over Christmas break is like yarn dyeing. I like to do that when I have like a little holiday going on. I like to do some creative things. So yarn dyeing was what I wanted to do. And I had picked out this shawl, brioche mode. I wanted to work on that. I like a good oversized shawl. And I like this one, like the modular way it's constructed, the brioche and the garter stitch. It looked like it was fun, but I couldn't decide on colors. So then I thought, why not grab one of the Yarnable skeins? Because I don't really have like plans for all of those. Like they come in, they go on my shelf and they sit there until I, need like a quick one skein project. So I'm like, okay, let's grab one of those and see if I can use that as the base for my inspiration. So I grabbed this one. This is Oh My Stars. Here's like the overhead so you can see what it looks like. So it's got some red in here and then different shades of like navy and turquoise. And I thought this would be a really good starting place. So what I decided to do, this isn't showing up color-wise very well. Let's see if I can adjust it. No, the colors are not great here. So let's do it this way. The colors are better on this camera. So here they are all together. These two are actually two different colors. I used just the Jacquard Acid Dye turquoise for 2 skeins because I decided to go with a 3 skein or 3 colors. You still need 4 skeins, but 3 colors. I did 1% dye solution or dye stock. And then for 1 skein, I did a 2%. So it is like slightly darker. Just a little bit. So I thought for the brioche sections, that's what I wanted, was just that little bit of where you can just see that it's 2 different colors. And then for the garter stitch, it's going to be the lighter turquoise and this. So these are the colors that I'm using. So they're not showing on the overhead camera. They show up a lot better right here. So I don't know if you can see, there is a difference in color between these two though. So that's what I'm using, and here's what I've got done so far. So let's see if that will show up. I can see like the stripes, the knits, the brioche knits are the lighter turquoise, and then that darker turquoise. So that is showing up pretty well, I think, are the purl stitches in underneath, in there. So at first I was like, oh, can I even tell the difference between these two? But in good light, you can see like there's just a subtle color difference, and I think that's really nice. And then when I get to the garter stitch, it'll be stripes, the lighter turquoise with this one, so that'll add like some pop of color in there as well. So that was really fun dyeing experiment, and I did have to label them because when I'm like sitting in the living room, I can't tell which one is which. But when I have like a good bright light, then I can just see, and it's just subtle enough. And I think I'm happy with that. It's not like really high contrast, pretty low contrast, but I don't know. It was nice. It was fun to do that sort of dye experiment where I used like a 2% solution and a 1% just to get like that deeper shade of turquoise. So, and I haven't really done very much of this one either. I just got it cast on, just got it started. So you start like almost like a top-down triangle shawl. So you're starting here and you're working some increases at the sides and in the center, and it's in brioche at the moment, and I don't know where it's going from here. So I've got some brioche going on with my 2 shades of turquoise for now. And it's been a while since I've done a crochet project, so I figured it was time to do another one of those. And I had a couple. I had another blanket. I've already done 2 crochet blankets, so I thought I should take a break from that. I did buy the pattern though, and I've got that. I think I might use it instead of buying all the recommended colors. I might just use up all of the yarn I've got from the other 2 blankets and do more of a scrap one. But I thought for something different, let's go with Tunisian crochet. So I'm working on the Party Punch shawl by Tony Lipsy. And it had a video tutorial, which was nice to see like what you're doing, because I've never done Tunisian crochet. And I also grabbed her book from the library. So this was, because I looked for a pattern in this first, but I wanted to use like yarn I have in my stash, and I have a lot of Yarnable yarn, so that's what I'm using for this one as well. But this was really good for like learning the stitches. The video was great as well, like just to learn how to do each of the rows. But I found like the first section in this book to like actually show the pictures and the steps for how to do like the simple stitch and the full stitch and the Tunisian knit stitch, like how to do all of those. The book was really nice for that. The pattern's super simple. I mean, it's nice when you just have Like if you mess up, you can just pull it back to the one stitch that you've got at the beginning and redo it. So that's not hard, but I don't actually have very much here. We'll go to the overhead. That might be a little easier to see. So this is all I've got so far. Pretty small. I just started this weekend, so hopefully I'm doing it correctly. I'm not quite sure, like, when I have to like skip and do some yarn overs and skip a stitch. I hope it looks like it's supposed to line up, and I think I'm pretty much lined up. It's like this mesh pattern. The variegated yarn actually helps with that because I can see the different stitches because it's usually like a different color of yarn by the time I get to there. So it's going to be like an asymmetrical triangle, but in Tunisian crochet instead. So I got this interchangeable set from Knit Picks, one of their sales over like the holiday time. I figured I was going to do some Tunisian crochet, so I just got an interchangeable set from there. And I mean, it works just fine. I really like the wood and it's pretty. I don't love these cords because they curl up, but other than that, I mean, it's doing what it has to do. It's doing its job. And it's interesting to do. It's not difficult. It's just, well, like learning any other skill. Like you have to learn what the stitches look like and how to work them and all of that. So I have the pattern open on my phone, and then I have the book open beside me. So if I forget how to do a particular stitch, I can like refer to the book again. But once you sort of get in the groove and you start recognizing things, it's pretty easy to do. So this is not something I can work on when I'm watching my subtitle drama though, because I have to pay attention to what I'm doing and count things, but it's just fine. Like regular TV knitting, it's knitting or crocheting, I guess it's fine. So this is the November Yarnable. Let's Get Basted is the colorway that this one is called. So just another of those one skein projects. Another way to use up another yarn from my stash and learn a new skill at the same time. And I really like that the pattern is really simple. There's a free version on the website. I wanted it like on my phone, so I just bought the digital version to put in Knit Companion. And it has a nice little video tutorial with it, so just to walk you through the stitches as well. So really good. But I do highly recommend the book. I don't have any plans to do any of the patterns, but it's really nice as a resource to know how to do all of the different stitches and increases and decreases and things. So this is the Tunisian Crochet Handbook by Toni Lipsey. The last project I want to talk about is a hand spun project. So I got my spinning wheel for Christmas. I've been spinning like crazy. Took a class at my yarn shop last week. I've got another one in a couple weeks. Have spent a lot of time spinning. So here is my very first skein of yarn, which you can see is, yeah, that's a beginner. That's pretty bad. But it did get better after a lot more practice. I'm about here now, so it's a lot better than it was. So I am really happy with I'm really happy with my progress. I really enjoy spinning. I'm gonna have a problem. Like I always say, I don't have a yarn stash. I don't buy yarn just to buy yarn. I buy it for a project, except for Yarnable. But I have started buying fiber for spinning, and I have no project plans for any of it. So I'm starting to get a little pile of hand spun. It's on the shelf. You can't see it. It's just out of frame over there. So I'm starting to get a pile of hand spun yarns. So I have to start making plans for those as well. So that might end up being my stash. But anyway, these are like the firsts. I've been doing a lot more spinning, and I had bought a couple of bats, and they have like these little bits in them, so it's hard to spin them fine. So this one is more lumpy bumpy kind of yarn too. And I had like the pink one and the turquoise one, and then I had some white. So I used like some hand carders, and I made like my own little rolags, and I spun them. So I'm just going to make a narrow scarf with them. I'm just going to use them all up to make this narrow scarf. So it's like all these different stripes. It's all kind of random and mixed, but that's how it looks. So, I mean, it's not going to be for anybody in particular. It doesn't feel really great. It's a bit ropey. I was like over twisting my yarn, I think, and it's like lumps from whatever was in little bits in that bat. But it's like one of the first projects of my hand, like where I did a whole bunch. It's like 300 grams of yarn there. So I want to do something with it. So I'm just like knitting a tube. I'm making one long skinny scarf, and then I have like 2 little skeins of just the turquoise and just the pink. And I'm going to do some like fringe or tassels on the bottom, probably just hang it up because it's like my first hand spun project. And then my other one was more of just this plain sheep roving. I don't even know what breed of sheep it was. It's just a bag of like roving, and a little bit like, it feels woolly. It's not super soft, but I've already picked out a pattern for this. But I'm going to make myself one hand spun pattern project at a time for now, because I have a lot of projects going on. Maybe as I clear the decks, I will have time for more. But so this is my current hand spun project. Really simple. I'm just knitting a tube. It's nothing particularly wonderful or difficult or anything like that. And the yarn is probably like an Aran bulky in there, so it should go pretty quickly. But I've got quite a lot of it. I've got like 4 big balls of this to use up. But yeah, my first hand spun project. So I am definitely kind of addicted to spinning. It might be, it's if you find knitting relaxing, spinning is like that, but like even more, at least for me. But it also has those rabbit trails of how can I spin like lace weight, how can I spin for socks, all of the rabbit trails that you can explore, kind of like knitting, where you can all explore all the different knitting topics or techniques or like historical information. There's so many rabbit trails. There's the same with spinning, but for me right now it's more of just like, I just want to sit and just listen to something like a podcast and just spin. It's just so nice and relaxing. And that's pretty much yesterday. It was like day off and I was just hanging around the house and my husband was watching sports, and I would just come and spin and did like a whole 100 grams of, I was planning to spend the week doing that 100 grams of yarn, and I did it all in a day because it was just, I would take a break and go do some other things. I'm like, oh, I think I just want to go back and spin. So it was just that kind of a day. I didn't actually I did some knitting at night, but it was a lot of spinning that day. So I don't know. It's just lots of fun. If you're a spinner and a knitter, then how do you balance your time between the two? I think because it's still so new, I'm still like in that honeymoon phase with my spinning. It's really fun. So I have some upcoming projects as well that I want to tell you about, because I think I'll still be working on this one next month, but I have to look at my calendar again. I have an article that I'll be writing about helix knitting or helical knitting for cast on, and it's going to have 2 patterns to go along with it. I've got the yarn for one of them. The other one will have the same colors as well. I think I've got, another color in there. But I'm going to do like a helical knit cowl in 5 different colors, but you're going to knit it lengthwise and sew the ends together. But how that works when you have multiple colors. And then we'll do a helical knit hat that's just done in 2 colors, because it's a little bit different when you just have 2 colors, but then when you have a whole bunch of colors. So those are like companion patterns that will go along with the article, but I'm pretty sure it's not due until April. So I'll still have it in March when I'm doing my podcast then. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, I will have it for the end of February, I think. But anyway, so the yarn, all of these are from the Brown Sheep Company. It's their Nature Spun Sport. I used the same yarn for a hat recently for cast on, and I had a bunch left. So I'm like, can I just use that for the next one? And I still need to get a little bit more because it's not quite enough for the hat and the cowl. So I need to get a little more, but I really like Brown Sheep. I like their yarn. It's got some great colors, and I mean, it comes in different yarn weights. Just, I really like it. And then the second project that I'll be working on is a steeked cardigan for the class that I'm doing, the group coaching program, where we do top-down raglans and top-down yokes, and I just wanted to add a little bit more. I did this cardigan actually with the last class, so I'm doing another one, but this time it's for steeking and adding that. And then I'm going to also have the YouTube video stuff, like the different ways to all the different methods. There's quite a few ways you can cut your steek and secure the steek down. So we're going to go over all the different methods. So the pattern that I'm going to be knitting is called Maddie, the Maddie cardigan by Kristen Drysdale. Very simple, just 2 colors. I've got this dark navy for like the body of the cardigan, and then a couple skeins of this pale blue. So this is Bluebell and this is J. So the dark navy is called J, and then Bluebell for the flowers. So this is Knit Picks palette, really good for color work. Nice soft 2-ply. Should be just fine for a colorwork cardigan. So I've already gone through the pattern. Everything looks totally fine, like easy to do. So if I'll probably want to do like bust adjustment to put some of the extra fabric in the front. I haven't checked the sleeve length, but that should be simple to adjust. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, it looks like it's a little bit longer. I think I have enough yarn to make sort of almost maybe a tunic length. So we'll see about that. I might do that as well. But it's really to focus on like the steeking part of it. So, and the only color work is in the top, but I'm as far as I recall, it's a steek through the whole thing anyway. And then anyway, so I'm going to have that for the class, and also I'll do like some videos on here as well about when and why and how to steek. So our book for the month is Custom Shawls for the Curious and Creative Knitter by Kate Atherley and Kim McBrien Evans. And I was really pleased to add this one to my collection. I did a book review for Cast On in their upcoming issue. So that'll be coming out. And they take recommendations, like you can submit ideas for book reviews. And I thought for sure somebody had done this review, and I Googled and checked and nobody had reviewed this book. So I'm like, well, I want to review that book. So I got a copy of this, and this is a fabulous book if you want to like either design your own shawls or you want to design and publish patterns. Either one will work. Let me get everything else out of the way and we can take a look at the book. So here it is. It's a nice soft cover, big book. Here are the nice big text for what you'll find in it. So there's a how to use it, the shapes and recipes that goes over like the basic shapes of all of the different shawls. I think there's like 20 something. I lost count. There's more than 20. And then different techniques that you'll need for specifically shawl knitting. And then lots of information on what to look for. Like because the whole point is to knit your own shawl. So what you should look for, like the kind of yarns you should use, the kind of drape and fabrics that you want to create for your shawl. A really good section on color. And then I really like the stitch dictionary as well. So you take your shapes and you pick your shape, pop in some stitch patterns, and then also, I really like the section on breaking the rules, like how to use short rows or change your increases and decreases to take like the basic shapes and really change them up. And they also include some patterns as well, so you can like get an idea of how either basic you can go with your pattern or like outside of the box, and then some other things as well in here. But the shapes and recipes is really where I like. So here is an example of like, you've got the section on triangle shawls. So it tells you, like tip up, how you're going to work it, your setup rows, how it's going to be worked, a schematic, and then it has like explanations on what all of these symbols mean, but it's basically telling you where you're cast on, where you're increasing, and the direction that it's worked, and then a little picture of it. So all of the patterns, there's like 26 or more, I can't remember, I quickly counted, but that many like shawl shapes, and they explain all of them in like basic, garter stitch or stockinette stitch. So all of those, that's really great. Love that. So if you want to design and you want to know like how to do all these different designs, this is a good starting place. Like you need to know the construction of the shawl first, and this covers all of them. And then in the technique section, you've got all of the basic things you need to know, like all of the tab things, the borders and edges, all of the increases. What I really love in this section is it doesn't tell you which ones to use when. You have to decide. You choose your shape, and then you decide what kind of increases you're going to use, where you're going to place them. It's really a manual for designing or knitting your own shawls. And then you'll find a lot of like stitch patterns in here. It's got written and charted instructions for those. I really like that there's edgings as well, which is really nice. There's some here where you can like pick up stitches and do an applied edging too. So really good resource. And then this chapter is amazing on changing things up, like breaking all the rules basically. I really like this, like how it changing where you're placing the increases or how you're using them and how you can get some more interesting shapes. Really, really good book. And of course, patterns in the back as well. But really great resource. If you are a shawl knitter and you want to start exploring like knitting your own shawls, like customizing for yourself, or if you want to design shawls and you want to know like the basic constructions and how all of that works, then this is a really, really good resource for that. So our last thing is to talk about our Yarnable subscription and also the Yarnable giveaway, but subscription first. So January's theme was intergalactic, and they always include like a little card and a scratch off thing and little notes, and it tells you more about the things that are included. So this one came with little sticky tabs, which I always have, can use little sticky tabs. I use them all the time, everywhere. I love my post-it notes. So just really cute little ones. These might be really, I might use these actually for like my Stitch dictionaries. I like to put tabs in them for like the different areas. Oh, I got something in my eye. You know, like if it's got ribbing or colorwork sections or whatever like that. Instead of using the table of contents, a lot of the books I use a lot, I put sticky tabs on each of those chapters so I can just flip through them. And I've got some I haven't done that with, so I might use these. Those will be really fun to make it really cute and interesting. It came with some bath sprinkles, Fruity Fusion, and yeah, those, when I opened the package, you could really smell it. And my daughter's already claimed these. She loves all the fun bath stuff. So that goes in the bath, and she wants this too. Like, she's taking everything this month. So this is just, it's a little pouch. It feels like paper. It's kind of like a different kind of fabric feeling. But what's cool about this bag, I don't think it's going to show up on, like it looks black, but like under my lights, I can see like some faint greens and purples. Now, I don't know if it glows in the dark, or I'm going to show you a picture. I took a picture with the flash on my camera in the dark, and it does, it lights up. It's the coolest looking thing. Yeah, it doesn't say anything specific about it. It says it's a reflective notions bag. So yeah, my daughter has, she's claimed it already. I think at least I get to keep my yarn at this point. If she ever becomes a knitter, I'm just going to have to get her own box every month, I think. Or just get her all, she likes the goodies. I'm keeping the Post-its. I've claimed those, but I think she's taking the rest. But this is really cool. I'll put a picture so you can see what it looks like. So she's claiming that too. And the yarn, we can't forget that. So our intergalactic yarn, so this is Plush Sock 8515, Superwash Merino, and Nylon. I really like these colors. No plans for this one yet, so it will get added to the stash, but I'm always happy to keep these on my shelf. I mean, I've been using quite a lot lately with my shawl, two shawls, the Tunisian crochet shawl and the other shawl and the one I just finished. Really great, like I like them for my one skein quick projects, and when you just want some fun color, or like this would be fun to dye some matching yarns and do a bigger shawl. I really like the colors in this, that purple and pink maybe. I don't know, so many ideas, but let's get to our giveaway. So Yarnable is kindly offering a deluxe package to one of you. So you need to leave a comment down below telling me which one you would want. Would you want the sock yarn, the DK yarn, or the new worsted weight yarn? Which package would you choose? Because you're going to have to tell me which one you want if you win. So I think it's the deluxe package that you will be winning. Let me see what's included in that. 2 skeins, 100 gram skeins of yarn, and I think the 50 gram coordinating mini skein. I think, I'm not quite sure, but it's not the January box. I believe you'll be getting February's box, so I don't know what's in that one yet. I haven't seen it. You can see a sneak peek. If you go on the website, you can see a sneak peek of the yarn colors, but I'd rather be surprised, so I don't go look. But if you want to enter the giveaway, just leave a comment down below telling me that you'd love to try Yarnable and whether you would try the sock, the DK, or the new worsted weight yarns. And on Tuesday, February 4th, I had to go check my calendar there, I will close the giveaway. Not really, you can still leave comments, but I'm going to use a random comment generator to choose one of your comments, and then I will tag you, and you've got to get back to me with your mailing address so I can forward that on to Cheryl over at Yarnable. She can get your box out to you. So again, if you want to enter that, then leave a comment down below telling me whether you'd want sock, DK, or worsted. And Tuesday I will choose a winner and then tag you, and you have to get back to me. So this is open worldwide. It's not limited to North America or anything like that. Yarnable ships everywhere. So no matter where you live, you can enter this giveaway. And for the fine print, YouTube is not sponsoring this giveaway in any way. I am hosting it, Yarnable is sponsoring it, and I think that's it for fine print. All of the rules and regulations are spelled out down in the video description box as well. So that is it for our very first podcast episode of 2025. If you are new here and haven't watched any in the past, I'll put last year's playlist, or if you're watching in the future, I might have this year's playlist so you can see what I've been working on. And if you've been around for a while, I will let YouTube recommend a video for you, and I will see you in the next video.